I'm not replying to compete, rather to speak on the 6 accusations against me. I saw the comments and that's what led me to create this video. First accusation is tax fraud. I have been employed throughout the marriage as a part-time, only for holidays, didn't work much. I began a full-time job in the month of June 2025, and that continued on till present. Being that he left the house in the month of September, I became head of household, and when I filed my taxes, I was a primary care provider for my children, and I was legally qualified to file my taxes. There was no fraud committed. Second accusation was my refusal to follow through with the breaking off of the lease. First of all, there was never an arrangement, as we all know, we should know, that for you to be able to break a lease contract, there is a penalty fee. And it's not a small amount. It's for the remaining months ahead. There was 4 months that were still pending on our lease. You're looking at mostly $4,000 that needed to be paid up front for us to be removed. Depends on everyone's lease. It's different. It's a different amount. But for us, it was looking at that. Even if it would have been $2,000, there was never a payment made. Why would I refuse it? There was never an actual arrangement for the cancellation of our lease. What he was referring to is that he wanted to be removed from the lease. He wanted for me to sign off and say, I will be fully responsible. How and why would I do that? If we signed a contract, we both did. So he is responsible and so am I. So we were going to do half. But being that he was ready to move out, he felt, I don't have to do half because I already have my own place. Well, that's great, but you still signed a contract and you need to keep your contract. Like, you can't just, I don't want it anymore and go away and let someone else take care of it. No, you have to follow through. Understandable that you have moved on and want to move on, but you need to take care of it in full so everything could be properly done. The third accusations are domestic violence. Now, there's always a reason for a reaction. Not saying that it's good, but it happens. In 2019, he hit me behind the head with a pillow, one of those pillows that it's like a chair type. It has armrest. He threw it behind my head. I was pregnant and he called me a bitch. So my reaction was to get up. I grabbed him by the neck, I pressed him against the wall, and I told him, call me a bitch again and watch what's gonna happen. That was it. Yeah, that's something, but that was it. There was no slashing his neck. This was provoked. Not saying that my actions were right. I reached out to Yolanda and I told her what I did and how bad I felt. I also spoke to both of his grandparents as we had dinner at a restaurant, and I let them know that I did do that. And they asked me why, and I couldn't answer why. I was very angry, and I did that. But what was concerning was that nobody asked him why he did what he did. I mean, there's never any reason for violence, but you should also not do certain things because we don't know how the other person is going to react. He also mentions in domestic violence that he was punched in the face. He was not punched in the face. He was slapped in the face. Now, does that make it right? No. But understand, there's always an action for the reaction. You need to understand that there's personal space. When you violate that personal space, when you just recently had an argument and you're not in good terms with the other person, and you come out of the bathroom with the toothbrush in your mouth and you start speaking right here in my face, what do we expect is going to happen? Nothing? See, some people might not do anything, and there's some other people that cannot handle it. And I'm one of those. Do not treat me a certain way and not be ready for the rebound, because I do react. I can't just, oh, I'm going to let it slide. I would be lying to you. I'm not that mature. I'm not that godly yet. I can't, when I feel that somebody has violated my boundaries, I act. So I'm very cautious in not getting too close when I'm not okay with someone. I respect their space, and if we're both done talking, I'm done. And give me my space. He also mentions that he was verbally abused. Now, if you know him, he is very argumentative, very feminine-wise, where men typically are not talkers. They kind of walk away when the girl is just going off. Not him. He continues for days. And I am more of the guy kind, where I'm solid, done. And I try not to talk because I know nothing positive is going to come out of my mouth. And he would antagonize and provoke and continue to want to relate how he was right and I was wrong and how things were, and we needed to stop. He does not know when to stop. So to summarize the domestic violence, there was verbal abuse from both ends. There was not consistent beating. No, I would not tolerate domestic violence at all. What there was a lot of verbal abuse because one side did not know how to stop being argumentative, offensive, and always, calling out our shames. And then I'm easily triggered, called back into the conversation because, of course, I'm a person that always needs to defend myself. I can't allow you to speak of me that way, and I just can't let it go. So I'm easily triggered back into a conversation that I don't want to be a part of. And then that's how it gets to where it gets. Fourth accusation is the percentage, me not allowing him to have more time with his son. In the beginning, before we went to court, I asked him if he could hold off on the overnights because I was not ready to take that step yet. It's very hard for me because of the attachment that I have with my son. Me and him have been together since birth, never been apart, and I just couldn't come to it. I was trying really hard, but I was hoping that he would see me as the birther, and have some compassion I offered him to see him every day out of the week, but that it would happen, but just to give me time. So what he ended up doing was keeping him and not returning him on New Year's. And that was a horrible night for me. I just felt torn apart. My actions when I went over there to his house were not kind at all. I reacted on full emotion, like they just took my son, and you can just imagine. I'm very protective over my son, and I just felt violated, and I was unable to do anything because the police does not get involved in that. That was something that needed to be taken up with the court. Then the day for our mediation came, and I offered him 2 days out of the week plus every other weekend. He denied it. He wanted a full week with him and a full week with me, 1 week on, 1 week off. The mediator told him that that was something that the judge was not going to okay due to his age group, and he did not budge. He took it to the courtroom, and it got denied. They ended up giving him every single Sunday, every other Wednesday, and his Friday and Saturday. And that was the first order for custody. Now we're under a new order due to a contempt that was filed against me. The judge arranged where I also get a Sunday. And so it's every other weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday each. And then he gets to see him every Tuesday and every other Thursday with the midweek overnight. That's how the order is now, and that leads him to 24%. So that's that on the custody. That shows why he has 24%, because he was persistent in something that the judge did not see as suitable for the child. And the judge is all about, if it's not for the best interest of the child, she's going to deny it. And if you keep persisting on something that she's telling you it's not good for the child, then she's gonna cut you off where she feels that she needs to cut you off. The next accusation are the 5 violations against the court order. The first order that was given, there was a misunderstanding in my behalf and Victor's behalf as well. My behalf, I did not understand that the judge gave him every single Sunday. And I believed that it was every other Sunday because it was the weekend. And Victor believed that it was every single Wednesday, but it was actually every other Wednesday. But that was the misunderstanding. That was my contempt. When he filed, the order was not even out yet. He probably filed sooner than 2 weeks as soon as we left the courtroom, and he already had me on contempt. Contempt will cause you jail time. So it was a serious accusation for a simple misunderstanding, and he saw it like a great violation, and the judge saw it like, you are extremely overreacting. The order wasn't even printed out. You didn't even give it time, so that was that. So now he is also stating that I'm violating the current order right now, making him, not going to the located spots of visitation. I don't know. What I can tell you is that the order states that the child should be picked up at school, and the child should be picked up, dropped off at Target, right? So that's not a problem. Totally doable. But the thing is that Judah doesn't go to school because we're not vaccinated, right? So Victor wants to maintain that, but he also wants to act like, well, you're not a school, making it difficult for me. And it's so petty because it doesn't say homeschool, it says school. And he's really going to go ahead and file another order of contempt because the judge didn't put homeschool. She put school. The child is homeschool. So if she's saying pick him up at school, it means my home. right? So, and then for the other times, I should pick up at Target. I don't know why it has to be so difficult, but this is what it is. This is my other form of contempt. And I violated it. Why? Because I didn't show up at Target at 3 o'clock because I was at work punching in at 2:30. And he did not want to go to my home because my home is not a school and the order says school. So that's what we're dealing with. That's the pettiness. How do you co-parent with that? Lastly, he's speaking of $4,000 rears and $490 in child support. Since October 2025, he has offered $42 in groceries, and that happened in February. And he also was asked to help out with a tablet and a curriculum course. That was a total of $80. I told the judge he gave me 120. It's definitely less than that. He has not contributed to anything else. He told me that I am responsible. I pay whatever he needs when he's with me, and he'll take care of what he needs when he's with him. And I said, well, okay. And he has not given any support. So when he tells you guys, I helped her out as much as I could. So from October 2025, he's giving me $120. And I guess that's okay, right? Lastly, I would like to touch on that $8,000 refund I received. I had to be fully responsible in paying those 4 months on that contract. I could not afford that rent by myself. It doesn't matter if I told them, go ahead and leave and I'll take care of it. The point is that he signed a contract. He is responsible. I understand that he wants to leave the home, but you cannot just leave your responsibilities, a document that you signed, for someone else to take care of because you are no longer seeing us as a family. You have to commit to what you started, finish it off correctly, and move forward. Nobody was holding you back. Nobody wanted you to stay. I wanted out just as much as you, but I needed to be responsible. I needed to pay those 2 credit cards that were at $2,000, that were of groceries, that were of home essentials, that he says that I would put, don't touch, it's the kids. I did. Why? Because those credit cards, I knew he wasn't going to pay them. I knew he was not going to give me any money for them. I'm lucky that he gave me half of the money of the rent. He says that he paid for the month of October. He did not pay for the month of October. He paid half of it, which was $1,000. And I actually said, thanks. Is this going to continue? Because if it is, then I'm not going to seek alimony to try and get some money for this rent, because you can't just not pay this contract. I would like to correct myself. I said October, but it was actually September. On September, it was the last time he paid rent. He gave me half of the rent. I guess it was $1,000. And from that moment on, I became the full provider for my children. I got served divorce papers in August. I did not know that he was planning to divorce. And so pretty much I got less than a month notice that I was going to be head of household. And that was very scary, difficult. I did not think I would make it. I really believed that he was going to end up with my son. I was going to be homeless and I would not have custody. But that was not permitted. And I was able to obtain quickly the money to pay rent. I paid off that contract. I got money and I was able to find a place. I got my refund check and I was able to pay all my bills debt free. And no, I will not give him anything. Hopefully this shows him that he needs to seal and close all deals before he decides to make these major life affecting decisions. You can't just get up and leave like that and not expect any consequences. You, as his friend, help him, because he doesn't make the best choices. You know, this commenting about a judge that currently has a case open is very bad for his case. This is not looked upon good at all. No one tells him this stuff. I don't know why. Even the support that the family offers him is not really in his benefit. They could have gone completely a different route and it would have worked out great for him. He wouldn't be having this financial struggle if he would have gave something, but they didn't encourage him to do that. It was just fight for custody, and he was not like considering the things that I would tell him or what the mediator was telling him. He pretty much set all of this stuff up on his own. And just because there's not proper guidance, why? Because they are breathing out of pain and they're taking these bold moves that are not working for their favor. And, you know, the shaming online is so unmanly. Body counts, you know, just putting me out there as a horrible woman. I have so much shame of everything that he's spoken of me, where I don't step foot at our fellowship. I miss the people there, and I just can't go because I can just imagine what they think of me. And I don't want to explain. But that's how they are. That's how his family is. Everybody's shit stinks but theirs, you know, even though they've done theirs, you know, but no, they call everybody out. They call me out on everything. I have 4 kids, and the mother looks at me like, oh, you've had so many kids. Well, we probably had the same amount of kids, but I decided not to do something, you know? And then what else? They accuse me of being in a lesbian relationship. The only lesbian relationship that I've been is with your son, you know, because he acts like a woman. But see, this will be like, oh, Erica, I can't believe you said that. But they can say it. I got a lot to say. I want to say it too. But see, then I'm wrong. There's a child in the middle. I'm his mother. If you care about him, stop. I'll stop. You guys just keep talking about me. Who cares? If I had 20 husbands, he's a grown man. He should have listened. Oh, please. He used to say that the Lord told him. The Lord told him in a story or whatever, in a dream, that he was Abraham. And I was Sarah. And Judah was Isaac. Like, okay, so that was all BS. Embarrassment. We're in a big embarrassment for the Lord. I said what I had to say. Thank you for your time.